So the review embargo for Spider-Man No Way Home has lifted. This movie, by the way, will likely be the first movie to reach $1 billion in the post-Coof era. What other movie could do it besides a Spider-Man movie, who is probably the most popular Western superhero by far? I don't think that that's crazy to say. I think the second closest would be Batman, but Spider-Man has been the most popular character for a long time. And I don't see it changing because he's the most relatable superhero. He was designed that way. This is my opinion. If you don't agree, that's fine. We don't have to argue about it. Everyone has their favorites. But as far as like box office and merchandise, I think this character is top dog. So I was curious to what they're saying, and as you can see, the Marvel shills are coming out, and I'm not saying that this movie isn't going to be good. In fact, I think it's going to be really good, but that has to do a lot with nostalgia and so on, because they're bringing in characters from every Spider-Man movie ever made, so this is likely going to really appeal to a lot of people. I do think it's going to be a good movie. I think this will be probably the best Phase 4 Marvel movie yet, or Marvel thing, anything yet. Phase 4 has kind of been a blunder. But don't forget, this is a Sony movie, not a Marvel movie. Even though Marvel is heavily involved in it, this is still, at the end of the day, a Sony flick. So I don't know what that says for the MCU or not, but critics coming out, they're giving it a perfect score, which is funny because they have complaints in their reviews. Okay, 47 reviews so far, sitting at 100%. This will likely drop. I think it'll fall around 90 is my prediction. And let's be honest, the movie probably is not a perfect 10. It's probably an 8 out of 10, which is still a good score. I'm seeing it Thursday very early, and I'll try to give you my impressions when I see it. And I'll be honest, when I do, I'll try and do it with no spoilers. And there's no spoilers in this video either, by the way. I want to let you know as we go forward. No one's really dropped any spoilers. So we don't know if Toby and Andrew were in it, even though I think it's pretty well confirmed that they are, even though they're not listed in the crew or anything. And none of the reviews talk about them either. But, I mean, I think it's a well-known spoiler, so I'll just go ahead and say this. In the soundtrack list that leaked, there's a curious mashup of Toby and Andrew's themes a little later in the soundtrack, towards the finale. So I don't know what that means. Sony quickly pulled every single track that was on YouTube, particularly if you can find it. I think 17 through 20 is where you'll find that little bit of a spoiler. So I think it's fair to say, especially once word gets out, I did criticize them not putting Toby and Andrew in the trailer, but I think if you look at it this way, when people come out and they're all hyped, they're going to tell people Toby and Andrew are in it. And when they do, like the second week for this movie is going to be even, like, it's not going to be as big, but it'll still be big. So this movie will likely have legs for at least 3 weeks and then kind of just trickle down, but still making money. Its only competition is The Matrix, and who knows how well that's going to do because it's on HBO Max too. So anyway, let's take a look at what some of the critics are saying. And I want to point something out here. All of them knock this movie for nostalgia a little bit and call it overstuffed. And I find that funny because they knocked Ghostbusters Afterlife for the same reasons. Ghostbusters Afterlife collapses under fan-baiting nostalgia. Now that's funny. How come this movie got a lower score because of a bunch of nostalgia, but this movie gets a higher score because of nostalgia? In fact, they call it overstuffed because, well, it has too many bad guys. But they also knocked the nostalgia in some reviews, but still give it a 10. You know, it's funny. Okay, this movie gets a 10, but it's overstuffed and has too much nostalgia at points. In fact, one review said they're surprised the character didn't turn around and wink at the camera because it was so over the top. But this movie got knocked. Ghostbusters Afterlife collapsed under fan baiting nostalgia, but this movie's fine. This is some of the problems and why I don't take critics too seriously, because they obviously give certain studios and franchises a little bit of a pass. So, like Marvel, and particularly anything that's attached to the MCU, they'll treat it as some kind of God-changing movie that's going to revolutionize cinema. But any other movie that does the same shit, that movie's a trash movie and has all kinds of problems and so on and so on. Though, let's be honest, the reason they didn't like Ghostbusters Afterlife is because it erased that trash 2016 movie. I just wanted to point that out because I found that funny. Literally, some of the same things that they trashed this movie for, they're giving Spider-Man No Way Home a perfect 10. And I'm not trying to dig on the movie. I don't know if it's good or not. I'm not seeing it till Thursday. I'm just pointing out hypocrisy as I see it. But anyway, let's take a look at what they are saying. The reviews for Spider-Man No Way Home are in, and it looks like critics have a tangled web of reactions to the third and apparently not final Tom Holland's Spidey adventure. Reactions are, for the most part, extremely positive, with Holland given particular praise as well as the film's emotional core. But some critics also felt the film is perhaps a bit too overstuffed with bad guys and things happening, even if they had high praise for much of the story. Let's check out some samples, shall we? So The Wrap, for instance, praised it as tons of fun and a film that, even as reality spins out in multiple directions, never strays too far from its characters. Innate humanity while also containing genuine emotion. So I want to now skip down to here and point something out. They quote the Mary Sue. The Mary Sue, meanwhile, called it a love letter to fans and the ideal third movie for Tom Holland's Peter Parker and for fans of our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Well, I find it funny that they call it a love letter to fans. I can think of another movie that people were calling a love letter to fans, but they didn't give that high reviews, did they? Collider dinged the film for being a bit overstuffed, but praised the fantastic story of Peter Parker in it, led by never better Tom Holland. Now, see, they're saying it's overstuffed, but they still give it a 10. That's what's funny to me. Like, if it's overstuffed, well, then it has a problem. It's not a 10, is it? This is just more of the, okay, well, we're not going to knock you, Disney, even though this isn't a Disney movie, but it's carrying Disney weight. So, I think part of the reason Sony keeps working with the MCU is because, well, they're getting a really good deal out of this. Marvel puts up all the cost, from what I understand, and Sony just gets to keep the profits. So if they're making $1 billion, that kind of makes up for the fact that they don't have any merchandise sales, doesn't it? But anyway, like I said, here's another one. Oh, he's just doing general. So in general, a lot of people are saying it's overstuffed. They didn't tackle the nostalgia thing in here, but nobody really knocked it for nostalgia. It's just funny how these critics will line up to blow anything from the MCU, but not anything else. It's just hypocrisy. And I'm not knocking this movie. This is more of a knock on critics than anything. So we'll see. I'm going to see it on Thursday. I hope it's good. Spider-Man, my favorite comic book character of all time. So I'm looking forward to this. And, who knows? Hopefully it's awesome. I'm hoping it is. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel, usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.